So we waited until this morning to collect ourselves and our thoughts and, try to come out here and give a measured response to what happened last night and look ahead to Game 5.
I think I'm even more pissed off.
And I think we're more pissed off. Welcome into Mavericks Today. Harrison Graham, Jeffrey Cooperstein. You see the headline there. Choke, job, plain and simple. We'll break it down. We'll look ahead to Game 5 and figure out if the Mavs can bounce back or not, as this series is now tied at 2, going back to Oklahoma City. Are you still confident in the Mavericks? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm confident in the defense, which is weird. You feel better about the defense, but...
Don't know if I'm confident about the offense, though. I mean,
yeah,
there are some serious problems here.
Yeah, we'll play it. We'll tell you why that is. Y for yes, in for no, let us know. Talk about the blown opportunity, Coop, when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's not just outplays. I mean, look, there were going to be games in this series where he was going to be the best player. That we expected that. But when he outscores Luka and Kyrie combined, that is just not only is it unacceptable, it's kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah, it's a joke, frankly, what happened. I mean, Luka and Kyrie were nowhere to be found last night. Shai was absolutely deadly from the mid-range and a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Look, he was the best player on the court last night, and I always thought that Luka deserved to be ahead of Shai in the MVP voting. I'm not so sure now, and I know Luka's dealing with injury and whatnot, but at some point, you have to show up, plain and simple.
Yeah, and look, both Luka and Kyrie are defending. They're distributing, but, you need these guys to score. This just isn't... My main takeaway here, Coop, is that, you can't keep expecting P.J. Washington to be your primary scorer.
It's not going to work.
It's an unsustainable model. You got 2 wins because of that. You're getting greedy at this point.
Yeah.
Your stars need to get you 2 more wins. Period. End of story.
And
we'll look ahead to Game 5 in a minute, Coop, but one of those guys, if you're going to win that game, one of those guys has to be the reason why.
And I think the guy has to be Kyrie Irving, because we know Luka's hurt with the sprained knee and the sore ankle. Kyrie's got to take ownership and be the aggressor going forward, because we know it's not going to be Luka at this point. He's beat up, and he's physically just not there right now. And I think a little mentally as well, because he's not seeing easy shots go in. Kyrie has to be the guy that's going to take ownership from tip-off, not from the start of the second half, from tip-off, and go in there and be the person that is the scorer for the Mavericks that they need.
I'll say this, too. I saw a tweet, and I chuckled, but I also was like, it's kind of ridiculous that this is happening. The Mavs, I don't know if this is a team strategy or if Kyrie's just doing this on his own or what. Jason Kidd is having Kyrie Irving play like Jason Kidd, a non-aggressive scoring, not aggressive to score, distribution guard. You don't need him to be that. That's not who he is. That's not who he's ever been. Sure, if he's going to make extra passes when necessary, that's great, but you got to take at least 20 shots on Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You can't take 11 shots in a playoff game when you're the second best player on the team.
And I get it. They're doubling Kyrie and Luka a decent amount. They can't double them both.
Nope.
One of those guys has got to go get some shots, man. And it's to your point, Irving's the healthier player. He's probably going to be the guy. Efficient player. He's going to have a 30-point game at some point in this series if they're going to win. He's averaging 15 a game in 4 games.
And an interesting,
not good enough.
An interesting stat I looked up last night. Kyrie had 2 career playoff games where he scored less than 10, and he's had 2 in this series.
That's just ridiculous.
It's not good enough. I mean, plain and simple, you need Kyrie to be better. You need Luka to be better.
I mean, stats like that, you should feel fortunate it's 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's 2-2 because P.J. Washington went nuclear twice.
Yeah, P.J. Washington's the reason you are in this series, and you have a fighting chance to still win this series, but you need your best players to be your best players, simple as.
What's your biggest concern after last night's loss? I think it's just that your star players aren't playing like star players. I'm not saying they haven't had moments in this series, but that and the combination, Coop, that the Thunder shot 38% and beat you in your building.
Yep.
Because they're probably not going to shoot that poorly in Game 5 at home.
And we will talk about the debacle that was from the charity stripe, so don't worry about that. Harrison and I have plenty of thoughts on that one.
Christ almighty. Next up, questionable rotations. I thought Jason Kidd made a number of bizarre decisions last night, Coop. I mean, let's just focus on the last few minutes, first of all. About 5 minutes left. he decides to take out Derrick Jones Jr. and Daniel Gafford in favor of Tim Hardaway Jr. and Derek Lively.
Why?
Now he came back to Jones. He was trying to do a little offense-defense there, but it's like, one, Jones scored 17 points last night. I get it. He's probably not the shooter that Tim is. And
Tim did make a big shot there in the fourth when they were down 4. He got him back down to 1. But Jones has been the guy you've ride with all season. Why are you changing that up now?
And last night, and look, Lively the last 2 games has played better. I get it.
He has.
Gafford's probably been a top 3 player for you in this series.
Yep.
And he was active on both ends last night.
Especially in that first quarter. He was cooking. He was getting easy baskets.
I told you at halftime, Coop, I was like, why has Lively played more minutes in this half than Gafford? I don't get it. And look, you're up 11 at halftime. Like, I wasn't like bitching about how the game was going, but it's just like, he was your best player in the first quarter, and then you like barely saw him the rest of the half, and I'm just like, look, man, like, feel out the game a little. I mean, this continues to be a question mark for Jason Kidd. I like the guy. I think he's worthy of an extension. The grass isn't always greener, but last night was a big, well, we told you so for the Jason Kidd coaching crowd. He was terrible.
I did not think he had a good game whatsoever. I mean, you just got to go with Gafford and Derrick Jones in that situation, man. I really just – I don't get what he was trying to do, and I know the Mavericks were trying to chase the game at that point, trying to see if they could get Tim hot. He did make a shot, but at the end of the day, you got to go with the guys that got you there in the first place, and that's Jones and that's Gafford.
Yeah, that was a bizarre decision, to say the least. Now, there were a million reasons why he lost, but that was questionable at best from Jason Kidd, especially at center. Like, the 10th thing, if you're looking for scoring, I can almost see it, but the Gafford thing, I mean,
makes no sense to me.
He was the better player last night. I don't get why you're making a panic switch there with 5 minutes to go. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. We love playing Prize Picks. You should too. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS, the best daily fantasy sports app on the planet. Pick more, pick less. 2 to 6 player entries, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. At least the Stars won last night. Major League Baseball, and a whole lot more. WNBA getting going here. We had this in the bag until Shai Gilgeous-Alexander grabbed several rebounds in the second half. He ended up with either exactly 7
He got
or
7.
8.
We would have made it if Shai got 1 less rebound.
Yeah. Well, and that happened in the fourth quarter when the Mavs stopped rebounding.
Yep.
But we're back on the saddle today. Have no fear. That's where the code CLNS comes into play. They give you an extra $100 in deposit bonuses. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. Get going today. Pick more, pick less. 2 to 6 player entries. If you hit, you cash out.
It's time to talk about it, Harrison. It's time. How do you go 12 of 23 from the free throw line in a playoff game? How do you do it?
I would love to go chart every game in the NBA this year. I would gander to say that comes out to 52%. I wouldn't bet on it, but I bet. I would say I wouldn't bet on it. And then I said I bet. I wouldn't bet on it, but I would not be surprised if there wasn't a single game where a team shot less than 52% all year in a game. This is the fucking NBA. This isn't
They
high
are
school.
free.
This isn't college. We bitch about college teams. An average college basketball team shoots like in the high 60s. And we bitch about, what do we bitch about in college basketball time? Oh, they can't make free throws. 52%?
It's embarrassing.
50?
And one of those makes was one you meant to miss.
Yeah, to me, you really went 11 of 23 because you tried to miss one late and you fucking made it. Like,
it can happen.
I don't expect to do what the Thunder did. That's like a lethal shooting night. They're the youngest team in the NBA on the road in a must-win game, and they go 23 of 24.
They made all their pressure free throws.
And you go 12 for 23.
They showed nerves of steel, and the Mavericks didn't at all.
If you go 16 of 23, you win this game, and that's a terrible night.
When Luka went to the line, I said it on our live stream. There is no chance he is making both of these.
No
and he
chance.
breaks the first one. I mean, it wasn't even close. The Mavs are 71% on free throws in the playoffs.
I said mid-game, this is going to cost you a game at some point. I just didn't know it was going to be the one at hand because you were in control most of the game.
They're the worst shooting free throw team in the postseason, and it makes no sense to me because you have Kyrie Irving, who's a top 3 free throw shooter in the NBA.
He's been missing them too.
Even he's missing. Look, you have to make your free throws. That's it.
This sounds like just classic, like 1980s high school coach shit. I would not have let them leave the arena without
50 each.
making 50 in a row.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, it is unacceptable. I will say this. At least Luka after the game said, yeah, 52% is a joke and unacceptable. So, like, at least like they know, but it's like.
Okay, it happened, though.
Yeah, like, you look at the box score of this game is unbelievable.
The Thunder shot 38% from the field and won the game.
Them from the field. You made 5 more threes than they did. You out-rebounded them by 2, which is kind of weird. You got killed in the fourth quarter on that. You had more blocks. You lost because your stars didn't show up. You couldn't make a fucking free throw, and you turned the ball over, 13-7 in that category. Like, you do one of those 3 things. If your stars play a little better, if you shoot okay from the line, or if you have a couple less turnovers,
it's a 3-1 lead.
You probably win this game by 8 to 10 points. It's just it's an all-time bad loss. I mean, there's no way around it.
You compared it to Game 4 against Portland in 2011.
Very similar vibes.
It is one of the worst losses in franchise history. I'll say it.
The good news is that team rallied to win that series and obviously won a title. But I don't know, man. It's a momentum stunter, and when you give a talented team life, and I do mean give. Like, yes,
the Mavs gave them that game.
Shai made some shots. There's no doubt he played a role in their win. But, like, are we talking about Shai's 14 of 27 if you just shoot 16 of 23 from the line? Sure, we might say, yeah, I mean, he was tough. It kept him in the game. But, like, now it's viewed as this generational performance because you did basic shit wrong. It's just,
no one would be talking about Shai if the Mavs went 16 of 23 from the free throw line.
It's ridiculous, man. We'll be back Game 5 tomorrow. Subscribe. Join us. Pivotal game. I will say this. If you're looking for good vibes heading into Game 5 here, Coop, the Dallas Mavericks have not lost 2 in a row, except for the final 2 games of the regular season, which I don't count because they sat their starters both games, since March 3rd and March 5th. That is the last time, and it was actually 3 in a row. They lost March 1st as well. They have not lost 2 in a row in meaningful games in over 2 months. So, and we said it in the Clipper series, they have bounce back abilities. So that
they do.
This series isn't done. The problem is, and the frustrating part is it would be done had you just fucking won last night.
They've shown the ability to win on the road in the postseason. They've done it, 3 times this postseason already
3 road
so
wins
far?
Already.
So they are perfectly capable of winning this game. All you have to do is not beat yourself, and you win this game. You come back Saturday night at the American Airlines Center with another chance to close it out. However, it just frustrates the hell out of me that tomorrow night should have been the closeout game.
Well, and again, the concern, too, is let us know who you got, Dallas or Oklahoma City, as we give some final thoughts here. DAL for the Mavericks, OKC for the Thunder is, yeah, you can't beat yourself, but at the same time, I expect the Thunder to play better.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm concerned. Like, yes, clean up the free throws and this and that, but that does not guarantee you a win on the road in Game 5.
Never.
Like, you're going to have to do that just to have a chance.
Luka and Kyrie will have to have their best games of the series in Game 5.
At least one of them.
And I just pray that one of them can figure it out and get it going on offense, because if they don't, the Mavs could be going home soon.
Look, in the last series, in Game 5, Luka had a vintage Luka game. Can he do it again? He certainly can.
You need him to.
So if it's not him, it's going to have to be somebody.
By the way, I didn't even notice this last night. I was talking to my dad. He had a triple-double last night. Do not care.
Oh, empty.
Couldn't care less.
That was a Westbrook triple-double.
Yeah. It was. That's exactly what it was.
It was empty. I mean, I don't care. He did not have a net positive impact on the game. He's defending his ass off. I'll continue to give him credit for that, but like,
got to be better on offense.
You're a max player because you're one of the best offensive players in the world. Like, get it done.
Get it done. We'll be here tomorrow night, 8:15 Central Time.
We'll be sweating it out with you guys, so subscribe and join us.
We'll see you guys soon.
Peace.